everyone, today I'm going to be talking about my January to be read books. If you want to find out more, stay tuned. Since this is my first video, I just want to give a little bit of introduction. This is my channel, Christina the Bookworm, and as you might not have known, my name is Christina, and the bookworm part of my channel name is because I am literally a bookworm. I am in love with books. I am an avid book reader. Since this is my first video, I thought it would be pretty rude of me to not introduce myself. So, hey everyone, this is Christina, and my channel is called Christina the Bookworm. Now, my channel name came from, number one, my name being Christina, and number two, me being a bookworm. Now, I have always been a big avid book reader. I love books and I love sharing my thoughts on books. So I thought, why not do it on a YouTube platform? It seems like the best thing to do. So I decided to create this channel to share my book interests, share what I'm into, different authors, different book titles throughout the year, whether it's old books or new books, but just to have a channel where I can meet other booktubers and kind of meet other people who are into books just like I am. Like I said earlier, this is going to be my January to be read books. Now, it is January the 10th, so I'm pretty late on this, but it's better late than never. The very first book that I read in 2014 was a book that I had previously read in December, which was The Host by Stephanie Meyers, and this was my third time trying to read this book, and I was like, well, you know, I'm a little bit older now, maybe I can grasp the concept, because there are other people who are like way younger than me and they love this book, and I'm trying to figure out why I can't wrap my head around it. So I tried to read a couple of pages of the book and I still felt lost. I wasn't interested, and I found myself like my mind wandering off into space. So I started looking at the movie and I'm like, oh, so this is what it's all about. This girl and her body is like the host, and it's kind of like set in this post-apocalyptic time, and you have these aliens that are taking the body or the shell of a human, and it's like they're starting their own, you know, race here on the planet, on our planet. Okay, so I grasped that concept, started reading it again. I didn't feel lost, but I still felt uninterested. Now I'm still deciding if I want to keep the book and maybe read it for a summer read, because it's about, I think, 500, 600 pages, I believe. So maybe it might be better as a summer read since I'm in school right now, but I just had to put that down. So I don't really count that as my first book. My second book is a book that's really popular right now, and I'm thinking everybody and their mother has been reading this book right now. It's The Fault in Our Stars by John Green, and I did a review on this book on my Goodreads, so I'll post that link below. But just to give you all a short description if you've never heard of it, it's basically about this girl who has cancer. Her name is Hazel, and her mother makes her go to this group meeting in this church where a lot of other kids or teenagers who have cancer go, and they meet up and they talk about, you know, their experiences, what they're going through, and any difficulties that they might be facing in the midst of having cancer. And she hates going there, like, because she's kind of like an introvert, and she's been so used to being a homebody and not really hanging out with a lot of people, that she doesn't want to interact with the people at this group. So her mother says, you know, just give it, you know, a try. She ends up meeting this guy named Augustus through one of the people that she's close to in the group named Isaac, who has eye cancer. And through him, she meets Augustus, and he's just this really awesome person. He used to have cancer, and he's now currently in remission. And Augustus gets Hazel to, you know, hang out with him because he's really infatuated with her. And it's not only just a love story, it's a really thought-provoking book. So for my second book of 2014 in January, is Return to Oz by Joanne DeVinge. And this is a book that's based on the screenplay by Walter Murch and Jill Dennis, which is basically The Wizard of Oz, which is the very first book. And I've never read The Wizard of Oz. I've only seen the classic movie with Judy Garland, who plays Dorothy. But I thought that since I know a little bit about the movie and what's going on, I can pretty much pick up with the sequel to the book. Basically, starts off a couple of months after Dorothy returns back home from Oz. Her aunt and her uncle are trying to repair the home that was destroyed from the tornado, and on top of that, they're also dealing with Dorothy. It was a very light read. I'm in school right now, so I really needed a very light read. Nothing too difficult, nothing too over my head that made me think too much, and it was a great book to read right after reading this one, because after I read this book, I was kind of like in a book coma. Those are the two books that I've read so far in January. I haven't read any more, but the next book that I do plan on reading is Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close by Jonathan Safran Foer, and I hope that I'm saying his middle and last name right. I have been wanting to read this book since 2011. That's how long I've been trying to read this book. I watched the movie when it came out, and I think the movie came out in 2012, but I never really got around to reading the book. I would start off a couple of pages, then I'd get distracted or something else was going on, so I couldn't really focus on what I was reading. But I do plan on reading this because I loved the movie so much. It was such an amazing movie, so I'm hoping that I can read this. The last book that I plan to read for January is The Other Boylan Girl. Now, all of these books are pretty much YA novels or fiction novels, and I really love historical fiction. I got to read a couple of historical fiction books last year, but this year I'm hoping I can dive more into it. I've seen this movie with Scarlett Johansson and Natalie Portman, and I know that that is a loosely based events, like true events that happen, but I love that movie and I really wanted to read the book. I've heard great recommendations, and I've seen amazing reviews for this book, so I can't wait to read it. And I really love this time period with like the kings and queens of England, so I really can't wait to read this. And I'm hoping that after I read this, I'll kind of figure out if I want to read the Marie Antoinette book, because I'm also contemplating if I want to buy that book. Those are the books that I'm reading thus far in January. I'm going to post another video after this with regards to what I'm going to be reading for the rest of 2014. So thank you all for watching. If you want to know the links down to my Goodreads and my Twitter and whatnot, they'll be posted down below. Like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you guys. Peace and love.